horns in the back, but not in the front, because of these little mud flap type brown.
Oh yeah, look at that, huh? Okay. There's the choices.
I like the back end of the Cadillac better.
I do too, but I like the front end of the Blazer better.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. It's a good use of space, but it's definitely smaller.
I like that one better.
Like that one better. Remember when the Fisker Ocean was first unveiled? I certainly do. I've been reporting on it literally since then. My first video on the Fisker Ocean was me reading through the terms of the deposit. Yes, the deposit, which was $250, and I guarantee you, if you're watching this video, at least one of you anyway,
didn't get that money back
and decided to cancel the car. Let me know in the comments if that's true. But I thought about all the things that the Fisker Ocean was and wasn't the other day when I was in New York. I got a little nostalgic, and I thought, what if we had completed Fisker Oceans? What if everything that they promised us
actually came true? And
I want to explore this today in the context of my new vehicle. Welcome. So let's just go through some of the stuff. 600 horsepower, give or take. Check. I've got it in my new vehicle. Wi-Fi connectivity. Check. Alexa. Check. I have that. Unnecessarily large moonroof. Check. No solar, but
it's generated 35 miles.
I do have the big opening roof. Driver autonomy. As long as you're looking at the road, that's it. Don't have to drive. Don't touch it. Nothing. Vehicle to home. 300 plus miles of range. A really nice warranty. Full app functionality. Walk-away lock.
Plug and charge. A huge back seat. Plenty of storage. Super comfortable seats. Ventilated at that.
17-inch screen. Ambient interior lighting. Power folding mirrors. 22-inch wheels with low-profile tires. Light bar animations. An illuminated logo.
Every single conceivable option available
on one trim with no boxes to check. It's literally all here. And some of those the Ocean didn't even promise. But what if I got it for way under $60,000 in the Chevy Blazer EV SS? And today I'll compare it to all of my other EVs. And don't get it confused, I absolutely loved every single one of these cars until one big thing for each. And I'm sure I'll feel that way about my Blazer until I have to buy tires. Find out what the big things are at the end. Meanwhile, this is not my first rodeo. I did a similar comparison when I got the Prologue, so we can start there. Here is the low-res chart I made, and a lot of this was pure sarcasm in the context of that video. But it's pretty easy for me to just wipe all that out and fill it in with actual information, which would make the next step to expand the chart and add the new vehicle. And I filled in the blanks for it. The cup holder is basic, just like the one in the Model Y. And if you own a Prologue and you're curious what it's like, the one in the back seat of the Prologue, and the Blazer for that matter, is the same one in the front seat. The garage door takes a minute to set up and is then permanently affixed to the vehicle. The glove box is regular with a regular handle. There are two massive bins for storage in the front. Lumbar is present on the driver and passenger side. The seat memory is tied to the key. As far as entry, you've got two keys and you can use the app. And then adaptive cruise, yes. Automatic high beams, yes. Lane centering, yes. And we've got some blanks, we might as well fill them in. First, let's talk about wheels. My Model Y long range had 20-inch wheels, while the Prologue only had 19. The Fisker Ocean, however, had 22-inch wheels, and it almost looked like a Hot Wheels car. Funny enough, the Blazer EV has 22-inch wheels as well. A square setup with self-sealing 40 series tires. Next, we can talk about seats, and I know lumbar's on the list, but this is just my tier rating for seat quality. When I first got the Model Y, I was really impressed by the seats. They were definitely the most comfortable seats I'd ever had in a vehicle, so they're an A tier. And with the Prologue, I was very upfront that the seats were not great. However, my son also has a Chevy Bolt, so not great goes deeper than this, making the Prologue seats a B tier. I never had an issue at all with the seat comfort in the Ocean. In fact, I think they were definitely fine. And they're more comfortable than the Prologue, so I believe they also fit into the A tier, which would mean the seats in the Blazer EV are definitely an S tier. Plus, this is the first vehicle I've ever had with ventilated seats. And then finally, as a consolation to the Fisker Ocean, because this chart is not kind to it at all, the ride quality in my 2021 Model Y was absolutely inescapably a C tier. There are many examples of the exact same looking Model Y with much better suspensions. In fact, I think there were multiple iterative improvements during this generation of Model Y, but mine were a C. The Prologue had pretty decent ride quality. It was a little stiff, but I feel like that stiffness gave it more confidence and competence on the road, making it an A tier. And for those Fisker Ocean owners that said the ride quality in the Ocean is excellent, I agree. It is definitely an S tier for ride quality, which would make the BLAZER EV SS, with its softer tuned than the Prologue suspension, also an S tier for ride quality. And the title of this chart, I noticed, was Stuff. So we could probably fix that and call it Comfort and Convenience. I mean, it is a name of one of the categories in the settings menu, but there is one creature comfort I didn't mention. There are no sounds in here. My seat is where all of the notifications land, and they are vibrations to my seat. So something happens in the lane, blind spot monitoring, park assist, it's all vibrations in the seat. All of the notifications are there, but no one hears them. And of course, every time you get a new EV, you've got to set up all the systems and the users and the accessories that you need. The first thing I did was swap out the floor mats. I detail cars professionally, and the only thing worse for your car's interior than carpet floor mats is small children, and only one of those can be completely avoided for a couple $100. I stole the all-weather floor mat out of the back seat of the Prologue since it's the same car before I sold it, so I only had to order the WeatherTechs for the front seat, which I chose because they are, of course, made in the USA and follow the red and black theme of the interior. And the trunk mat was so affordable from GM, I ordered it as well, using the money I saved for the rear mat, making it the first time I've ordered an all-weather mat for the trunk. I put my A to Z adapter in the back seat of the driver's side, which prevented me from using it on my New York trip, but it was nice to have for the road trip I took in the BLAZER. This will be my first charge of this thing, and I have like 72% battery, so totally unnecessary charge. We won't be able to test speeds today. That looked good. No problem there. Okay, so that definitely worked. Hilarious note, this was upside down. It was this way when I picked up the car. So don't do that, because you can't fit your 1772 plug-in when you get home. Press that, and it closes. I don't like this charge port door at all, and I hope my opinion changes over time. It seems well constructed compared to what I thought it might be, but I definitely like the manual door better. And then we were off on a road trip. My first EVgo charge ever was a Pilot Flying J, and I learned that you can't enable auto charge at a Pilot Flying J. It has to be a native EVgo, but I was shocked to see 98 kilowatts at 67%, and we pulled over on I-70 to do a route change, which got us to Parkersburg, where there is a supercharger, but not for non-Teslas, which meant I ended up at a charge point that would only do 27 kilowatts. And the slow charging gave me a chance to look at my efficiency for the trip. 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour over the almost 200 miles so far. The next stop was our hotel, the Blennerhassett Hotel, which was old and fun. And overall, I'm very impressed with the looks of the BLAZER. Shane and Connie were impressed by the seats and the comfort. All right, 42 kilowatts at the charge point by the pool. It's $375 for 15 minutes, which is really, really expensive. However, it is a place to charge. It's in the ChargePoint app, but you can't activate through EVgo, so I had to activate and pay. Next stop was Hocking Hills, and Connie, being a huge fan of nature, was absolutely thrilled to take this enchanting hike through some of the most beautiful natural rock formations in Ohio. There were caves and waterfalls, rock climbs and bridges, and plenty of fun was had by all. Next, we got something to eat in nearby Logan, Ohio, and instead of the charge point by the pool, this time we stopped at Donwood Chevrolet, and this charge point was able to be activated through EVgo. I followed the GPS to the letter, and it told me to charge to at least 58%. While Connie, who wasn't getting service in this part of Ohio, was able to use my Wi-Fi hotspot to access the internet. It was hot, and one of my favorite differences between the Prologue and the BLAZER is the 3 vents, which have much more customizable adjustments. And then finally, in the map, I'm going to hit continue, and it says I'm going to show up at my destination with 31%. After we checked out of the hotel, we headed home, but we didn't take I-70 this time. We took Route 50, leaving the only charging option, an Autel from Red E at Chenoweth Ford. Thank you, Chenoweth Ford, for installing this. It's the only CCS DC fast charger in central West Virginia. Oh, look at the ramp. 87, 92, 100 kilowatts. Are you kidding? Is this real? 118. Wow. We ain't gonna need to be here long. Home. Thing. Home. Delete the charging. 9%, so 6% and we're out of here. And then we'll have our stats right here, which is all we need. And grab the handle. It even says thank you out loud. These are really nice. Autels are really nice. It's an excellent unit. And then all you have to do is literally just that. Because as soon as I put it in reverse, it will close. It's closed. So how do I compare these 4 EV SUVs that I've owned in real life terms without spending an hour on individual features, statistics, and numbers? And while I'm sure you can tell from my videos that fashion is way out of my depth, I do happen to be a fan of shoes, so maybe that's the way. This is a Brooks Ghost 15, and it does everything that I need a shoe to do. I can wear it to a formal event because it's black and white, basically. I can walk in it. I can stand in it for hours. I can drive a long road trip with it. But it's not new. It's actually 2 generations or 2 years old. But I bought it new very recently for half of what it cost brand new. And that's how I wear my Brooks. And as homey and comfortable as these feel, I also feel a little bit compromised because the company Brooks is owned by Berkshire Hathaway. This is a New Balance 996, and it just looks like a regular New Balance, but it's actually made in the USA. So it's pretty special, but at the same time, nobody knows it's special until you look really closely at the tag. It does everything that my Brooks could do. I can walk in it, I can run in it, but I need to be a little more careful because it's actually made of suede. And the only reason this shoe can be made in the USA is because New Balance makes tons of shoes in other places in the world that aren't necessarily as friendly to the work environment. So the only reason they can do this is because they sell so many other shoes from so many other countries. Still, this one is made in the USA, and that makes it kind of special. This is an Air Jordan 13 He Got Game, and it's very special. However, it didn't cost me a ton of money, just a little bit more than a regular shoe. I think they were $210. But if I show up somewhere in these, everyone is going to notice. People may even ask about it. These are definitely special, but if I continue to wear them, I can wear them to all the places I wore the New Balances or the Brooks, and they would end up looking like these Air Jordan 13s.
One to rock and one to stock.
Which are also pretty special because they glow in the dark. I mean, a lot. But I've worn these hundreds and hundreds of times, and I can still sell them for a pretty decent value because people know how rare these are, and they know the quality and the name and the brand and the meaning behind it. This is the BLAZER EV SS, except it's this. And I will be the first person to admit to you that I do not own any shoes that are representative of the Fisker Ocean, but I can give you a very good example. This is the Nordstrom website, and these are the Louis Jr. Spikes sneaker by Christian Louboutin. And if you don't know who Christian Louboutin is, he's the red bottoms guy. If you've ever heard of red bottoms, that's what this is. These are men's shoes, and they're $995. Why are these the Fisker Ocean? Because I can buy them right now for $525. Which is a bigger loss than the entire value of my He Got Game sneakers, twice over almost, to get it used because these are not rare shoes. I can walk into a Nordstrom in Pittsburgh right now and pick these up for that $995 price. Or, if I'm smart, I can look on the used market and pay around half for what is exactly the same thing. But either way, the value of these is stupid. They don't make any sense for you to own, they're not practical, they're not comfortable. And they cost too much money for what you get. That's a Fisker Ocean if you ask me, because the used ones look like a phenomenal deal until you realize how uncomfortable they are and the fact that you really can't wear them anywhere without taking the risk of hurting yourself. But it's not all smiles and roses. Every car is missing things. So what am I missing? The Model Y has Century Mode. The Honda Prologue has wireless CarPlay. And the Fisker Ocean is completely unique in every way, and everyone notices it every time. Okay, I promised you one big thing for each car. For the Tesla, it was literally the day that Elon dumped $4 billion worth of stock to save Twitter. He didn't have to buy Twitter, but this told me that Tesla was no longer anything to Elon Musk except a meal ticket, and he had too much power and control to ever be removed as CEO. That was the end of me buying anything for me from Tesla. It doesn't stop me from owning a Powerwall to this day. I'm looking at it right now. It's right over there. Or my wife owning and loving her Model 3 Hardware 4. I actually like that car a ton as well. It's awesome. But principles are principles. Someone who buys EV definitely has a reason. And The EV part of Tesla no longer matters to me as much as the fact that I no longer trust anything Elon Musk ever says or does. He wasn't going to invest in any of the elections until he did, and there are tens of thousands of examples this year that play out the exact same way. So I love Tesla cars. They're great. I've recommended them to friends of mine, relatives of mine. They are reliable cars. My Model Y was totally reliable. Zero maintenance for 3 years. I didn't buy anything. I didn't buy tires. I bought a couple adapters, and I loved it as far as a car. But then I bought the Fisker Ocean. And the one big thing was day 2. I got the car, I made a video, I released it immediately. And I got in the car for a range test. During that range test, the Ocean performed great. I drove to Fairmont, I drove to Uniontown, I drove all around the local area until I was almost completely out of battery. And then, in 5 o'clock traffic, the Ocean just shut off. I've never been more scared in my life. I knew that service was hundreds of miles away and that I may never get it. And by the time I made it home on that same day, I noticed that Fisker had announced a going concern, which means we no longer have enough money to continue to operate and bankruptcy is imminent. So the one big thing happened to me all at once the day after I took delivery of my Fisker. And that was the event that put this entire rolling carousel of new cars into motion for me. I needed the Model Y's positive equity to get out of the Ocean, and I needed the offer from the Honda dealership to get rid of the Ocean at the best possible price, which put me in the Prologue. And again, I absolutely love the Prologue. Kind of sad to see it go. Actually, on a scale of 1 to sad, I'd say 9 out of sad to see it go. I ceramic coated it. I kept it clean. It performed beautifully. It had everything I need and nothing that I didn't. But the payment was $1,050 a month. The interest rate on my loan was 7%. I have a degree in finance and extremely good credit. It's the only thing I can tell you in my life that I can guarantee you is extremely good. And yet, 7.7 was the best interest I could get because I couldn't put any money down because I had so much negative equity. I did a max borrow on the Prologue, $50,000, the whole ticket, and the payment was crushing me. Anyone who's ever had a $1,000 car payment... Get out of here! So the Prologue had to go. But I love my Prologue so much that I looked at almost all GMs to replace it. I did look at the new EV6. It's nice, but it's not the Prologue. I like the GM architecture. I test drove a Mustang Mach-E, but it's not big enough. It doesn't offer enough cargo space and interior room for my family and tall son. He would never be comfortable in the back of that vehicle, and we take road trips a lot. I looked at every Cadillac, including the Optic, very closely.
I like that one better.
Like that one better. But the Optic was within $1,000 in cost after I got the final numbers on the Blazer. It was a no-brainer. I could replace the Prologue with a Prologue that had more stuff. And I guarantee you, my next big thing will be tires. I'm gonna put the number on screen for one tire on the Blazer EV SS, and maybe you can cry for me. And for those of you who own a Fisker Ocean or owned one in the past, let's take a look at how close it actually is. Hyper range battery. I'll give this a check mark, but we can do an asterisk 300 because it doesn't have 360 miles of range. Dual motor all-wheel drive, yep. Smart traction, yep. Boost mode, I have wide open watts, but that's a yes. Regenerative braking, sure. Charge port, but I can also go over here and type supercharger because I have access to that. Power bank system, never came to the Ocean, but I have access to it now. Cruise control, brake override system, I'm pretty sure whatever that was on the Ocean, the Blazer would have. Heat pump, yes. Public charger cable, you know what? Mine didn't come with one either. Drive modes, yes. And I would have snow and ice, as well as wide open watts. Yes, that's what it's called. I don't like it either. Automatic vehicle hold, yes. We'll do OPD for one pedal driving. Tilt and telescopic steering wheel, yep. Optional wheels, I can just put a check mark for that because I have 22-inch wheels as well. I actually had Michelin's. Advanced driver assistance, 360, yep. Automatic emergency braking, yep. Blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, traffic sign and light recognition. That would be half and half. I don't have traffic light recognition. Intelligent speed assist, yes. Driver drowsiness and attention warning, yes. Parking assist, yes. Door opening incident warning. You know what? I don't know if I have that. Fisker Intelligent Pilot Virtual View. I do not have that, but I will put in its place heads up display. All of the mitigations I have. Auto high beam, yep. Ocean never got it. I don't have traffic jam assist, but I definitely have adaptive cruise and lane change and lane centering. High mounted stop lamp, don't have splash lights. Acoustic laminated glass, pretty sure I got that. Rear glass defogger. Heated outside rear view mirrors with auto dim and power fold. You got it, as well as rain sensing wipers. Definitely have those. And some of this may be a little out of order because there's more body and exterior stuff down below. I've got something to the likeness of that. The sustainableness, I definitely can't guarantee. And you know what, guys? No taco trays. Digital rear view mirror. I don't have limo mode, but do you really? I definitely do have dual zone HVAC, but I don't have second row screen control. Front defrosting vents, yeah, got those. Front and rear heated seats, yes. Heated steering wheel, yes. Heated washer nozzles. I have heated wiper area. I don't know about wiper defrost. Driver's seat, sure. Front passenger, yep. And we can also just write in lumbar. Pretty sure I got 5 seat belts. 8 airbags. I have a 60-40 split without a power recline. Under seat storage box, you know, nope. I'll just go GC here for glove compartment. Ambient lighting, sure do. Premium air filtration. Second row armrest with cup holder. I don't have a solid back. Got a physical switch for this. Yep, I have this. I have this. I have this. I think all cars have that nowadays. I do not have that, but again, I have that instead. 12 volt tire repair, and I don't think these are legally required in the United States, so I'm also pretty sure I don't have any of this either. No solar sky roof. I just have this part. No California mode, but do you still have California mode? Maybe if you subscribe to Ocean Lube. Power lift gate. Don't have that rear window. Don't have doggy windows. I do not have the see me signal. I've got all of that, as well as that. Auto leveling headlights, daytime runners, LED tail lights, and because the BLAZER EV is not a worldwide car, I do not have rear fogs. I do not have a rotating screen, but mine is 17 inches. Also, no Hollywood mode in the BLAZER. I'll just write Bose on top of this, and I have an in-depth review of that coming up. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I only have 1 wireless phone charging pad. Key fobs, I happen to have 2.
Happen to remember the informant's name?
Ibarra. Luis Ibarra.
That's a yes for streaming services. I've got audio streaming services as well as FM radio, and we'll put a little XM down here because it's easier to write than the whole thing. Find my Fisker, find my Chevrolet. Connected car, I've got everything but that. This is OnStar. Yep, definitely OTA. Can definitely schedule service from the app and request roadside from the app. Car as hotspot, and actually mine would be 5G. Navigation with traffic, digital owner's manual. Yes, it has a digital owner's manual in the car. Driving and trip stats, always on connectivity, again, 5G. eCall Plus. I'm pretty sure I've got whatever they think that is. Bluetooth, contact list, Wi-Fi. But you know, if I get a DUI, I'm in trouble because I don't have the alcohol interlock interface. USB-C. In the front, I have 3 Type-C and no Type-A, and in the rear I do have 2 Type-C. The low-speed sound is better than the Prologues as well. Range, like I said, is 303. Ocean does have me beat in efficiency by a little bit. 85, 71, 88. However, acceleration, that's a 3.4. Horsepower, no, that's 615. The torque in Newton meters on the BLAZER is actually 881. This is 130 for top speed. Roof, we'll just put roof. We do have NMC, but it's not hyper range, and it's 102 kilowatt hours. Charging time on level 2, I'll have to test that. I'll have to test this as well. Check. We'll just put a plus here. We already talked about that. Plus more. And there you have it. So is it a Fisker Ocean? Is it better? You can be the judge. And this is just the beginning of the journey with my BLAZER. There's so much to come. There's a direct comparison to the BLAZER EV with my Honda Prologue. Every single thing that's different between the two of them that I could identify as an owner while both of them were in my driveway. And I'm releasing it at the exact same time as this video, so when this one's done, just click here. Join Patreon or become a YouTube member. Subscribe for more. We'll see you on the next one.
Hey! Smash the like button!
Thank you.